My name is Kelly. This is a 60-minute vinyasa flow. We're going to get started seated, so if you have that pillow nearby, go ahead and grab it, place it underneath you just for a little bit more height throughout your hips. Preferably sit in crisscross legs, Sukhasana. If that's not accessible or doesn't feel right on your knees or your ankles, you can try Vajrasana back on your shins. If neither feel okay, extend your legs out. Okay. Now take a moment to get set up here. Place your hands palms face down. Take a moment to check in with your shoulder head. See if you can draw them back slightly. And then notice what it feels like to tilt your torso back an inch or two. So it's stacked, torso right above hips. And see if you can grow a little bit taller through your spine. And then an invitation here to close your eyes. And from here, we'll start with a gentle body scan. Let's start from the bottom up tonight. So take a moment to just notice, right? We're not changing anything just yet. We're just acknowledging, taking a little inventory, if you will. So check in with your ankles, the tops of your feet perhaps, anything making contact with the mat, your shins. Notice if your knees are calling back at you, and if they are, of course, acknowledge, right? And maybe move, shift. You should never feel any pain or pinching. But if it's just a sensation that you feel, then perhaps you just sit with it, right? Notice it. So if you can come from this place of noticing instead of doing, right? Oftentimes throughout our day, we're constantly doing. So what would it feel like to just be? And continuing the scan up through your hips, right? Your torso, chest. And check in with your shoulders, maybe even slightly draw them away from your ears. And down your arms, right? Check in with your fingers, your palms. And then eventually, begin to notice your breath. And perhaps just by noticing, do you allow for a longer inhale and a longer exhale? Right? Maybe it just automatically begins to lengthen. See if you can allow the inhale to rise through your belly, up your ribs to your chest. Just a subtle grounding of your exhale. Once again, checking back in with body, but this time noticing if there's anywhere that you can make yourself even just 5% more comfortable. So is there any shift? Is there anything that you could do? Right? It doesn't have to be anything major. And then settling back into stillness. And coming back to breath. Notice if you need to perhaps even it out again, or is it still at that even pace? And from here, tonight we'll focus on adding a pause in between inhale and exhale. So at the top of your breath in, just take a beat or two of a pause. Full breath out, release. Honor that pause at the bottom as well. And the thought here, the hope, right, is that we create some space in between our breath. And that in turn will help create some space in between our thoughts. We'll be focusing on a mudra tonight. We'll be using the lotus hand mudra. And the lotus grows from muddy waters. I think that as a community, we could all agree that we are wading through some muddy, murky waters right now. So we'll use this mudra, this hand mudra, to symbolize growing out of that uncomfortability, growing out of that fear, to become beautiful. In your next inhale, just flutter your eyes open for a moment. I'll show you that mudra. So it's actually taking the pinkies together and the thumbs together, and then keeping the fingers separate. So it almost symbolizes if you've ever seen a lotus flower, right? So pinkies together, outer edges of the pinky, outer edges of the thumb, fingers separate. So when I call out lotus mudra, you'll know. Right? So from there, you can take a lotus mudra right to your heart center. So you can grow a little bit taller, invitation to close your eyes once again, or you can just find a soft gaze. Use your next inhale to send that lotus mudra all the way up to the sky. Breathe in. Use the exhale to cactus out the arms, come into goddess arms, elbows in line with shoulders, and see if you can draw the elbows just a little bit forward from the shoulders. Inhale right back up to your lotus mudra, and then exhale, lotus down to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, release the arms out, goddess arms. Draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Inhale, reach right back up. Reconnect to your lotus hand mudra. And then exhale, hands come down to your heart. Now this time as you inhale, bring that lotus mudra right back up to the sky. Ground down through your left hip and find a side bend over to the right. And draw your belly button into your spine. Inhale, come back through center. Keep the lotus mudra. If it feels okay in your shoulders, just exhale over to the left. And draw the belly button in, come back through center, breathe in. Exhale, bring the lotus back down to your heart. And grow tall on an inhale. Find your twist to the right on the exhale. Come back through center, breathe in. And then twist over to the left. Come back through center, inhale. Exhale, just release your hands down. We'll shift right into tabletop position, hands and knees. So from this position, start to bounce out the knees a little bit. You might even want to walk your hands forward, sink your hips down to a modified plank, right, to open up through the hip flexor, through the psoas. And then eventually we'll meet back in that table position, hands and knees. And stacking the joints. Use the breath in to extend the right leg all the way back, tuck the right toes, and then shift the weight back in space so that the shoulders come past the wrist. Feel that calf stretch, back of the hamstring. Use your next inhale to float back forward. If it feels accessible to you, float your right foot up to hip height. Dial your right hip down. Take one more breath in, reach through your right heel, and then use your breath out to step your right foot forward in between your hands. We'll come into a low lunge. I'll come this way to face you. So the right foot is forward, ground down through the right foot, and then sweep the arms up overhead, breath in. Use the breath out to come back into that lotus mudra hand, right at the heart center. Right, so pinkies connect, thumbs connect. Inhale, reach right back up to the sky. Exhale, hands come out, right, goddess arms. Inhale, right back up, reconnect to your lotus mudra. Exhale, hands come to heart. One more time like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, goddess arms. Maybe you find that pause. Reach right back up, breathe in. Hands to heart, breathe out. And from here, release your hands down, curl the back toes, float the back knee, gaze goes forward, breathe in. Step to the top of the mat, breathe out. Lift, find length, inhale. Exhale, just fold right back down. One more time like that. Inhale, find length, reach the crown of the head forward. And then exhale, fold. Bend your knees a lot, sit your hips back. Inhale, reverse swan dive, out wide up. So Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Hands come through prayer this time. Just trace the midline all the way down to lead with your heart, hinge at your hips. Lift and lengthen, breathe in. Just fold, breathe out. Now plant your palms. Right foot is still leading, so stay with me. Left foot goes back once again. Tap the left knee down. Keep the fingertips, preferably the palms if you can, down onto the mat. And then send your right leg back, right where we started, through table with the right leg extended. Now from here, send all the weight to your left knee, your left hand, reach your right arm up for a modified side plank. Your toes can tap the mat for most support, and your bottom left shin can work as a kickstand here. Right, maybe this feels plenty, or maybe you float the right leg. On your next inhale, take your right arm alongside your ear. Find that length all along your side body. Reach through your right fingertips. Breathe in. Use your breath out to transition back to your tabletop position, hands and knees. Stack your joints. And then right away, extend your left leg back behind you. Curl over the toes. And then send your weight back in space to feel that calf stretch. Right, shoulders shift past the wrist. That's fine. One more breath in. One more breath out. Maybe pause at the bottom of the exhale. And then inhale, shift back forward, step your left foot forward. I'll come this way to see you. So you're in a lunge, right? Ground down through your left foot and then reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, take your hands into the lotus mudra, prayer, heart center, right? Reach right back up, breathe in, out to goddess on your breath out. Reach right back up, inhale. Exhale, lotus mudra at heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open goddess, squeeze the shoulder blades in together. Inhale, right back up, pinkies and thumb connect. And then exhale, down to heart. Go ahead and release your hands all the way down. Curl your back toes, float your back leg, send your gaze forward, breathe in. Step to the top of the mat on the breath out, feet about hip distance apart. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Lift and lengthen, inhale, find a long spine. Fold right back down, exhale. One more time, inhale, find length. This time take your hands to your hips, elbows face the sky, bend into your knees and lift from the back of your heart all the way up. Reach your arms up overhead, inhale, and then swan dive right back down. Lead with your heart, hinge right at the hips. Lift and lengthen, breathe in. Just fold, breathe out. Left leg is still leading, so tap the right leg back, tap the knee down. And then I'll come this way so that you can see me. Press the hands down, send the left leg all the way back through table, straight back. Right? From here, all the weight goes onto the right hand. You can spin that right shin like a kickstand and then reach the left arm up. Left toes can meet the mat or maybe they float hip distance. Use your next breath in to take that top arm alongside your ear. Take one more breath in. Perhaps you pause at the top. And then use the exhale to transition back to the tabletop position, hands and knees. Now, if this feels most accessible, maybe you stay there. Otherwise, press into the palms, curl the toes, and on your next exhale, lift the knees and the hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. So wherever you are, if you're in your table, maybe move through a few cow-cats. If you're in your downward facing dog, pedal through the knees. Shake your head out, yes and no. Option to kick on that Ujjayi breath if you haven't already, that gentle constriction in the back of your throat. Now from your table or your downward facing dog, inhale, float your right leg back behind you, three-legged. Now stay with me, use your exhale to step your right foot forward, but on the outside of both of your hands, so it'll come to the outside of the mat. Curl the back toes, float the back knee if that feels accessible. If it feels too intense, then you can stay tapped down. Come up onto the fingertips and keep with this lunge. This will be a small movement, but use your inhale to shine the heart forward. Get a little bit deeper into this right hip. Feel the length through your left hip flexor. Now staying in the lunge, just exhale, round your upper back, curl your chin to your chest. A few more times like that. Inhale, shine the heart forward, right? Stay committed to the lunge. As you exhale, round the upper back, pressing the fingertips, chin pulls in towards chest. One more time, inhale forward, and then exhale, round. Come back to a neutral back, and then walk your hands down the left side of the mat. Move through wide-legged forward fold. Keep walking all the way to the back of your mat. Frame your left foot this time if it feels okay. Keep the back knee lifted, otherwise you can always tap it down for more support. Root down through your left foot, and as you're ready, inhale to rise all the way up to your high crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Come this way to face you. See if you can wiggle your shoulders down away from your ears a little bit. Breathe in. Use your breath out to get a little bit deeper into this lunge. On your next inhale, straighten your left leg all the way. And then exhale right back into the lunge. One more time like that. Inhale to lengthen through the leg. Press into inner outer left foot. And then exhale, rebend. Breathe in, grow tall. Come this way. As you exhale, come into your warrior two. Take a nice wide stance here. Take up room. Press down through the outer right edge of your toes, right? And then see if you can take your right toes and spin them slightly in. And from here, flip your front palm. Breathe in, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Come back into that lizard pose. So both hands on the inside of the left foot. Toe heel the left foot out wide. Now sink a little bit deeper. Now this time, ground down through your right hand and lift your left arm up. Come onto the outer edge. Come this way so you can see me. Come onto the outer edge of your left pinky toe. And if it feels okay, maybe lean back slightly here. One more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and release both hands back down. We'll walk down the right side of the mat once again, coming back through wide-legged forward fold, all the way back to the top of the mat. So now the right leg is leading. So from here, back left knee can stay lifted. Root down through your right hand. Lift the left arm up. Once again, just find this twist. I really miss being in person with you guys so I could run all over the room to show you rather than just running all over my mat. So from here, from this twist, pay attention, right? Bring awareness to your right shoulder blade. Draw it into your spine. And this may be plenty. If it is, stay right here, breathe. If you're craving something a little bit more, you can use your hands for support. Tap your right fingertips down as you step your right leg back. Maybe you come into side plank, modified side plank, right? You decide, whatever feels more accessible to you. Find one more breath in, reach. We'll all meet back in table or in downward facing dog on the exhale. And shake your head out yes and no as you arrive. Notice your breath, right? Notice if you need to slow it down. Perhaps you come back to that pause. Come back to the inventory in your body, right? Can you notice any difference from right to left? And then as you're ready, inhale from table or down dog. Extend your left leg back behind you. All right, find that length, reach through your heel, breathe in. Step your left foot forward to the outside of your hands. If it's accessible, curl your back toes and float your back knees. So you're in a high lizard here. Come up onto your fingertips. It's a small movement. Just shine your heart forward as you breathe in. See if you can roll your shoulder heads back. Stay in the lunge, but as you breathe out, draw your chin into your chest, puff your upper back, press into your fingertips. 2 more times at your own pace. Inhale, heart shines forward. Right, exhale, round the upper back, belly button draws into the spine. Inhale, shine forward. Exhale to round, belly button pulls in. Come back to neutral, breathe in. And use the breath out to walk down the right side of the mat. We'll come into forward, all the way through forward fold, and then all the way to the back of the mat, so that your right leg is leading this time. Now that back knee can always be down for most support. Right, if it feels okay, if it feels accessible, ground down through the right foot and lift yourself up to Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. So you're at the back of the mat, the right leg is leading. Sink a little bit deeper, exhale. Use the next breath in to lengthen through the right leg. Next breath out, get a little bit deeper into the lunge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Right, exhale, recommit, grow tall, breathe in, breathe out, come into warrior two. The back of the mat, right, big bend, take up space here. Check in with your right knee, see that it's tracking more towards your pinky toe. On your next inhale, flip your front palm and reverse your warrior. One more inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the inside of the right foot this time. So both hands are on the inside. You could even toe heel that right foot out a little bit. Come onto the outer edge of the right foot, press down through the left hand and reach your right arm up. So getting into the hip a little bit more, inhale. And then the exhale, right hand comes down, walk down the center of your mat, and then all the way back to the top of the mat. So we'll come back into, I'm gonna come this way so you can see me. The left leg is back leading. Right hand plants down, left hand lifts, back into that twist. So this time the awareness comes into the left shoulder blade. Imagine it's wrapping down into your spine to take this twist through the thoracic spine. Right, and this could be plenty if it is stay here. If you wanted a little extra heat tonight, you can step it back, right? Maybe the fingertips assist, maybe they don't, to side plank, modified or not. Wherever you are, take one breath in, breath out, hands meet on the mat, table or a down dog, you decide. Once you arrive, deep breath in, open mouth, exhale. Just let something go. On your next inhale, send your gaze forward. If you're in table, curl your toes, float your knees. Use the breath out to walk, step, or find a light hop to the top of the mat. We'll come into Uttanasana, top of the mat. Lift and lengthen, breathe in. And just fold, breathe out. Bend the knees a lot, sit the hips back. Inhale, reverse swan dive, out, wide up. Exhale, hands come through that lotus mudra once again at heart center. So it's pinkies, thumbs, fingers separate. Take this right back up to the sky, this lotus mudra, breathe in. Just as we've been doing before, this vinyasa, the lotus mudra, exhale, hands up to goddess. Reach right back up, inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart. One more time like that. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, out to goddess. Reach right back up, breathe in. And exhale, keep the lotus at your heart center. Now send all the weight, all the awareness to the right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot. Draw your belly button in. Find an even pelvis here, so tailbone pulls down. Maybe you stay here, maybe you shift into crane legs by floating the left knee to left hip. Flex the foot. And find a drishti, a steady focal points. If you have a wall nearby, that can be helpful too. If you're feeling crazy, maybe we move through that mudra vinyasa again. So inhale, lift the lotus up to the sky. Exhale, out to goddess. Pause. Breathe right back up. Inhale. Exhale, hand to heart. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale to goddess, open. Inhale, reach right back up, breathe in. Exhale to goddess. Now stay with me. You can step back, or if you're feeling, you want to try and float. If you're feeling really balanced, maybe you play around with floating your left leg all the way back, keeping your hand in lotus mudra at heart center. We'll all meet back in that high crescent lunge. Root the tailbone down, the low belly up. And then once again, inhale, send the lotus all the way to the sky. Exhale out, goddess. Reach right back up, breathe in. Bring the lotus right back down to heart center, exhale. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale out. Inhale, right back up. Exhale, hand to heart. Find your drishti, your steady point of focus. Draw the belly button in and use your next exhale to shift either right back into crane or back into standing. You decide. You can always tap those toes down. One vinyasa this time with the hands. So inhale to lift. Exhale to open. Shine the heart forward. Shoulder blades draw on the spine. Reach right back up. Breathe in. Connect to your lotus mudra and exhale right back. Maybe play around one more time with floating the left leg back. So you're shifting through. Looks like a modified warrior 3. Or just step back if you're not feeling it. Right? Inhale, reach the lotus up. Exhale out, goddess. Reach right back up. Breathe in. Bring the lotus down to heart center. Breathe out. And just take a moment of pause. Reach the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, open to warrior 2. You can shift side to side, front and back. Just notice how your body feels in the space. On your next inhale, we'll shift into 5-pointed star. So heels come in, toes out, reach the arms up overhead. We'll take it into warrior two to the back of the mat this time. So big bend into the left leg, left knee tracks to pinky toe. Those right toes spin in once again. And take up space here. And from here, inhale, extend or lengthen through your left leg. Reach your right hip back and reach your left fingertips all the way forward. Release the left hand down, right arm up. So we're in a more wide stance of a triangle pose, Trikonasana. If it's too intense, you can always shorten your stance. If this feels okay, stay right here. Or perhaps take your top right arm alongside your ear. Reach through your fingertips. And breathe in. Draw the belly button in to engage the core. Breathe out. Take it right into reverse triangle. So the left leg stays straight. Right hand down the right leg. Come up, back through center. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Back to warrior two to the top of the mat this time. Inhale, flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Now this time, press into your palms and step back to plank pose. Tap your knees down to the mat. Of course, you can always keep them lifted if you're craving the heat. Otherwise, modified plank is great to build strength in shoulders. See if you can use your breath in to shift slightly forward so that your shoulders are over your wrists. And then use your exhale to keep your elbows squeezed into your sides as you lower all the way onto the belly with control. Untuck the toes when you get there. Right hand slide a few inches back towards your waistline so that they're right underneath wrists, right underneath elbows. And then inhale, lift into your version of a back bend. So maybe that's cobra, or perhaps it's upward facing dog with your knees floating. So you can find a little bit into your elbows so you're not locking out your elbows. One more breath in. Now use your breath out to draw your belly button in, press into your hands and your knees, shift through table. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you make your way to downward facing dog. Back to your Ujjayi breath. When your next breath arrives, your next inhale, send your gaze forward. Use the exhale to walk, step, or light hop if you wanted it to the top of the mat. Find length on your breath in, reach the crown of the head forward. Fold right back down on your breath out. Bend the knees, sit the hips back. Inhale, reverse swan dive, out wide up, reach tall. Hands come into that lotus mudra, down to heart center. Now from here, send all the weight, all the awareness to your left foot. Find your drishti, your steady focal point. Maybe your right toes stay tapped, find your balance, or maybe you move into your crane pose, right knee in line with right hip, flex right foot. If you want it, right, if you're feeling balanced, use the breath in to send the lotus flower up to the sky. Breath out to cactus out the arms. Breath in, reach right back up. And then breath out, hands back to heart center. One more time like that. Inhale, lift, belly button draws in. Exhale to open, draw the shoulder blades in. Inhale, right back up, lotus mudra connects. And then lotus down to heart. Now from here, find your shift slightly forward. You can just step back if you want it, or float your right leg back. Tap the toes down. We'll meet in Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. And from there, take the lotus mudra right back up to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out into the goddess arms. Reach right back up. Inhale. Exhale, hands come through prayer. Right, maybe find that pause. Maybe you slow it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale to open. Stay committed to that lunge. Reach right back up. Breathe in. And then hands are right back to heart center. Breathe out, lotus mudra. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale out. Pause. Breathe up. Hands in lotus. Find your drishti, hands to heart center. You could always take your hands to hips for a little bit more support. Press down firmly into the left leg. Maybe you step right back into crane pose, or maybe your right toes tap. If you want it, reach back up. Inhale. We'll just take it one vinyasa this time. Exhale, arms out. Reach back up, breathe in. Lotus back to heart, breathe out. We'll float or just step, you decide. Right leg all the way back once again. Left leg is leading, high crescent lunge. Inhale to lift. Exhale out. Reach right back up, breathe in. Exhale, hands come to heart. Now use your next inhale to reach the arms right back up. Open up to warrior two on your breath out. So the left leg is leading, you're facing the front of the mat. Go ahead and find your space here, right? So maybe you shift all the way forward, maybe you shift all the way back. Side to side. Notice what it feels like to once again, right? Shift your torso back an inch or so that the torso is stacked right above hips. Allow your next inhale to take you right into 5-pointed star. Take the heels in, toes out, wrists in line. And then warrior two to the back of the mat. So big bend into the right leg this time. See if you can send your left toes a little bit more forward, right? Left knee tracks more towards pinky toe. Right knee tracks more towards pinky toe. So you're at the back of the mat, the right leg's leading. So from here, we'll take that long stance. Inhale, straighten that back right leg. Shift the left hip back, reach the right fingertips forward for that long stance, Trikonasana triangle pose. If it doesn't feel right in your body, you can always shorten the stance, right? No problem. If it feels accessible, take your top left arm alongside your ear. See if you can send your hips more forward, your torso more back. And then draw the belly button in. Inhale, lift yourself back up. Take it into a reverse triangle. That right leg stays straight. One more inhale. Back into 5-pointed star. Heels in, toes out, breathe in. Back to warrior two, facing the top of the mat on your breath out. So left leg is leading once again. Grow tall, inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Stay committed to that lunge. Breath out, cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Now press into your palms and step back. Now you have the option to come right back to table or right back to down dog if you want it. Or if you wanted a chaturanga, right, you always have the option to tap the knees down, of course, for a little bit more support. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, lower down halfway this time, shoulders in line with elbows. Lift your heart on your breath in. We'll shift back through table. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you find your way to downward facing dog. Notice whatever is arising for you. Your repetitive thoughts, maybe they're worrisome, perhaps they're full of fear, maybe you're uncomfortable. Right, and channeling that lotus flower, knowing that we can grow from the mud and the muck. We can be just as we are and come out on the other end of this. Allow your next inhale from down dog or from table. If you're in your table, you might want to curl your toes, lift your knees. Use your inhale to walk your hands back to your feet. And we'll come into a forward fold at the back of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. Find length on a breath in and just fold right back down on the breath out. Now bend the knees a lot, sit the hips back, and inhale, reverse swan dive, out wide up, reach tall. Exhale, hands come through prayer. Now keep the feet hip distance apart. We'll take the arms forward, inhale, and use the exhale to descend the thighs back and down, chair pose, Utkatasana. Now from here, find that lotus hand mudra once again, so pinkies, thumbs connect. See if you can grow a little bit taller, inhale, and then sink a little bit deeper on your exhale. If it feels accessible to you, come up onto your toes and lift your heels. Now from here, inhale, lift the lotus, just as we've been doing. Exhale, take it out to goddess arms, right? On the toes is gonna challenge your balance a little bit more. Reach right back up, reconnect to your lotus mudra. Exhale, bring it back to your heart. One more time like that. Inhale, shine it forward. Exhale, open. Inhale, right back up. Exhale, hands come to heart. Nice, release the heels and release all the way back down. Come back into a forward fold. Lift, find length, breathe in, and just fold back into your Uttanasana, forward fold. You can take the fingertips down and just pedal out through the legs for a moment. Come back to stillness. Meet us back in that halfway lift. Hands back to your hips, elbows face the sky. Big bend into the knees. Lift from the back of your heart all the way back up. Reach your arms back up overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Hands come back through prayer, and then just release your arms by your sides. Palms will face forward. Feet still hip distance, mountain pose, Tadasana. And take this moment to check back in. Notice the urge to sway, to move. Perhaps it feels a little bit jarring to come back to stillness, maybe back to silence. Next inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, breathe in. Open mouth, exhale, lead with your heart, hinge right at your hips, fold right back down. Lift and lengthen, breathe in. Just fold, breathe out, walk your hands back out. We'll come back into plank or modified plank. You decide. You may need to walk your feet back as well, right? So they're stacked. And from here, find your breath in. And use your breath out to take you all the way down. You can move through Chaturanga if you want it and pause, or just come all the way down to the belly. And once you get down onto the belly, we'll take our hands, form a pillow with the hands, place the forehead right on the pillow. You might want to lift your head for a moment just to watch if you're unfamiliar. I think this way might be the easiest. We're going to come into half frog. So we'll start with the right leg, and what you'll do is just take the right leg out to the side. Ideally, the right knee is in line with the right hip, and you're all the way down here, right? But it really depends. Every body's different. Every structure of your body and your hip is different. So it might feel more accessible to have your knee below your hip. It's totally fine. Wherever you feel sensation, great, stop, right? You should never feel any pain or pinching. So I can do it standing up as well, if anyone's confused. But you're on your belly, right leg's leading, right hip is out to right knee, half frog position. Once you get there and it feels okay, then you'll rest your forehead all the way down, right onto your hands preferably. And check in with your shoulders, right where you're carrying tension. Is there somewhere in your body that you can soften? One more breath in. Use the breath out to slide the right leg back down. We'll come into Sphinx just for a few breaths. So come up onto your forearms, align your elbows right underneath your shoulders and press your palms down. Just take a moment of stretching, strengthening, lengthening through the hip flexor, through the psoas. Roll the shoulder heads back, gaze goes forward, same direction as your heart. Take this time to check in. Right, this gentle back bend, and just notice difference from right and left. Back to that body scan. One more inhale. Exhale, form that pillow. You can have the opposite hand on top if you want, and then we'll lead with the left leg, right? Half frog. So left knee now in line with left hip. And again, that might not feel accessible to you. You might want to have your knee a little bit lower than the hip, right? That's okay too. And stop when you feel a sensation. You should never feel any pain or pinching. And of course, if this hip opener doesn't feel right, come into your back, come into figure 4 or seated figure 4, right? Back to that body scan. Right, of course, you're probably holding some sort of tension throughout your low back and your hip. But can you release maybe even just 5%? Right? What would that feel like? So I'll take one more breath in together. Pause as you arrive at the top. Open mouth exhale, release. Pause at the bottom. And then just gently slide the left leg back. Now this time just take a moment of pause, and if it feels accessible to you, stretch your arms long. So you're in a modified Superman pose. You're not lifted, but your arms are just long in front of you and your legs are long behind you. You can rest on one cheek or on a forehead. Notice all parts of your body that are connected to the mats, right? Connected to the earth. And then nice and slow, slide your hands back to underneath your shoulders, press back through table. Maybe you stay there. Or perhaps you find one final downward facing dog of class. If you are craving one final chaturanga, one final plank, right now is your chance. As you are ready, send your gaze forward. Inhale. Exhale, walk, step, or light hop to the top of the mat. Toes connect this time. Little sliver of light between the heels. Lift and lengthen, breathe in. Just fold, breathe out. Bend the knees, sit the hips back a lot. Reverse swan dive out, wide up, reach the arms up overhead. Connect into the lotus mudra, and then take the hands down to heart. Reach your lotus mudra right back up to the sky. Find a little bit of a back bend this time. Bend into the knees. Right, might be mini, maybe a little bit deeper. One more inhale. Swan dive down as you exhale. Lead with your heart, hinge right at the hips. Now bend the knees a lot. Come up onto the toes and lift the heels. Come into that closed-legged yogi squat. Well, maybe you stay here with your fingertips down, or if you're craving one little final balance, you can take your hands back into that lotus hand mudra. If you're in the lotus hand mudra, see if you can shine the heart a little bit more forward, grow a little bit more tall. We'll stay for one more breath in. Release the hand mudra if you had it. You can use your fingertips to assist you. They'll come back down to a seated position. You can find your way somewhere into the middle of your mat is great. Now from there, slide the right leg up so the sole of the, slide the left leg up so that the sole of the left leg is connected to the inner right thigh. And take the right leg out just a little bit. And sweep your arms up overhead, find a breath in. And then shift your torso so it's facing towards your bent left leg. One more inhale. Exhale, release your right hand down, preferably on the inside of your right leg. If that is not accessible, you can always grab a pillow if it's nearby, a little bit more height, or you can just take your right hand to the right thigh. Now from here, take your left arm alongside your ear. See if you can root down through your left hip and feel that stretch all along your side body. Now we're in no way trying to touch the right toes, but we're just sending our fingertips towards that direction. That's all. Use the next inhale. See if you can shine the heart a little bit more forward, maybe up towards the sky. And breath out, release the left hand down, sweep the right arm up, send the hips forward as you come forward onto your left shin and inside of your right foot, and send the hips forward, little gentle back bend. One more breath in, pause. And use the breath out to sweep right back down, and we'll switch it out. So left leg extends, right leg comes in, sole of the right foot connects to the inner left thigh. Take your arms up overhead. You can take a moment to get rooted here. Shine the heart, spin the torso into the opposite direction of the straight left leg. Right? Breathe in. Now use your breath out, preferably left forearm comes down. This one doesn't really connect for me, much tighter on my left side. Right, so I'll take a pillow, or you could even take the forearm down to your left leg. That top right arm reaches alongside your ear, just towards the direction of your left toes. Flex your left foot. Bring your awareness down to your right hip. See if you can root down. Take one more inhale. Now use your exhale to release the right hand out behind you. You can move the pillow if you had it. Come onto the right shin, the inside of the left foot. Take the left arm up alongside your ear. A little back bend here. One more breath in. Use the breath out to release back down. We'll take the hands by our sides, stretch both legs long, and just give them a shake. Now if you have pillows, we'll set them up at the back of your mats, or the top of your mat, wherever you want to come into your final resting pose. We're coming down onto the backs, but first we'll come into a heart opener. I know I use both sides of the mat, so it might be confusing, but just behind you. So if you have your pillows, if you have one pillow, great. If you have two, you'll just have it side by side. It's a makeshift bolster. If you don't have pillows, don't stress about it. You can just take your arms out to goddess. I'll show you in a moment. If you have the pillows, you'll want the spine and the head supported and the arms out, right? So it's probably not as big as a bolster. That's okay. It's still a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a heart opener. If you don't have any pillows, no problem. Take your hands back into that goddess shape and see if you can slightly tuck your shoulders underneath you. So you're still getting a little bit of a lift for your heart. Now, most intense on your low back would be legs straight, right? So if you're with legs straight and you're noticing you have a lot of compression, a lot of tension through your low back, bend your knees. Maybe even tap the knees into touch, toe heel or feet out wide. Reconnect to your breath. Slow it down. Where does my mind go when my body gets still? At the bottom of your next exhale, just go ahead and roll off onto your favorite side. If you're using a pillow, no need if you're not using a pillow. But if you're using a pillow, roll off onto your favorite side. Press into your forearm just enough to remove the pillows. Just place them off to the side and then roll right back down onto your back. Once you get back down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. Grab a hold of the backs of your thighs or your shins and just find a gentle rock side to side. And find your way back through stillness from here, and then extend your legs long, reach your arms up overhead, so you're in a reclined full body stretch. If it feels accessible, it may be too tight on your shoulders. If it is, skip it. If it feels accessible, take your hands back into the lotus mudra. Pinkies and thumbs connect. All right, breathe in from here. Now use your breath out to pull your belly button in, lift your torso, and slide your torso over to the left. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, right? Kind of depends on how flexible you're feeling in your side body. So you're in a half C shape. Say that 3 times fast. Right, and maybe this is plenty. If the hand mudra feels too intense, you can always release it at any time. If you want to go deeper into this side bend, one leg at a time, left leg first, then right leg, walk your legs, maybe even to the outer edge of your mat, or perhaps a little bit before it. So you should feel the stretch all the way from your right toe, right, your right pinky toe, all the way up to your right pinky. Stretch through your arms, your armpit, your side body, your hip, outer hip, IT band. Let's use the next breath in to walk the feet back first if you had walked them out. And then draw the belly button in to lift the torso. Take a moment of pause when you arrive back in center. Just release your arms by your sides for a moment. Have your palms pressed down. Bring awareness to your lumbar spine, right, your low back, and press it down into the mat. Next, inhale. Hands come back to that mudra if it felt okay. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a big stretch. Reach in 2 directions. And then use the exhale to lift the torso. Maybe you just move it an inch or two, or maybe you move it all the way to the right off of the mat. Really just depends on how you feel in your side body. This could be plenty. You can relax your hands from here. If you want something more intense, more of a C shape, take your right leg first, walk it to the outer edge, or maybe even beyond the mat, and then your left leg. And breathing into your side body, and knowing that when I or any teacher says breathing into a space, it really just means bringing your awareness to that space, watching it expand with your inhale, watching your body create more space where there was once tension or once tightness, and quite literally watching yourself grow. Right? At the bottom of your next exhale, release the feet first if you had them, and then draw the belly button in to lift the torso back up. Take the mudra, if you still have it, back through heart center, and then release your hands by your sides. Palms face down for a moment. This time bend into the knees, knock the knees in together to touch, and toe heel the feet out wide. Your lumbar spine firmly down into the mat. Like the lotus flower born from the mud, we must embrace the darkest parts of ourselves to become our most beautiful selves. Noticing what it feels like to just be here. There's no more doing. You can release any breath control. What would it feel like to embrace whatever shows up? As always, taking this time at the end of practice just to check in. Is there any final shape, final move that your body is craving? Maybe you wanted a long twist to finish out your practice prior to our final resting pose. Perhaps you wanted a bridge or another knees to chest leading into happy baby. We'll take about 7 to 10 more breaths in whatever shape is calling to you. If you're in a long twist, go ahead and switch sides in the next few breaths. Right, of course, there's no rush. If you're ready to settle into your final resting pose of Shavasana, feel free to grab your pillows, place them underneath your knees for a little bit more support under your back, or perhaps underneath your head. You can bundle up if you'd like. Mindfully choose how you would like to have your hand placement. Right, so are you wanting your hands facing up for accepting, right, open? Would you prefer your palms to face down to show your body a little bit more grounding? And perhaps you want one hand to heart center, one hand to belly. And just allow your eyes to close if you haven't already. Falling back into the natural rhythm of your breath. Shavasana. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin to invite movements back into your body. Move your jaw side to side, your head side to side. Eventually, roll off onto your favorite side. Right or left does not matter. And when you arrive in that space, embryo pose, the pose of new beginnings, just pause. We must embrace the darkest parts of ourselves to become our most beautiful selves. And perhaps you keep that with you as you move off of your mat and into your night. There's no right or wrong here, no right or wrong way to do any of this thing called life. Can we allow ourselves to be with whatever shows up? And gradually, in your own way, press down to lift yourself up. And come into a comfortable seated position on your mat. And one last time, we can take our hands into that lotus mudra at heart center. The latent side of me honors the latent side of each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much. As always, I'm here if you'd like to connect, if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful evening.